Welcome to Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm the amazing Kendahl and Jordan.
And I'm the wonderful Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationships.
And today, we're talking money. Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world.
You're a rich girl, and you don't do it anyway.
If I was a rich man, na 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 na, and I got all the money in the world. If I was a wealthy girl.
Perfect.
I win.
I couldn't think of any other songs.
It's just me, or was I kind of good on the last note of that?
I don't know. Today we're talking all things money and dating and relationships.
Before we get into it, how was your week, Jordan?
My week was good.
Good.
My week was fine. I am trying to slim down our closet.
Yeah?
And I'm trying to sell some things on Poshmark and take some things to like Buffalo Exchange, Crossroads that I've been trying to take for 100 years, and you're mad at me.
I'm a little frustrated.
Because they're still in the trunk of the car.
They're not just in the trunk. They seem to be in every corner of every ounce of the house. This is the problem. If I were to narrow down everything going on in our relationship in the world, that this is the main problem.
Got it.
Is that Jordan, you think you're so cool, and you are. But I'm always like, let's just I'll get there. Just give me a second. I'll get to the thought. Sometimes I do some buffers if I can't think of what I was going to say. I am a huge just take it to Goodwill to a fault. I don't think that is the best way to do it. I think Jordan's way is the best way, to be clear. Jordan is so ethical.
I try to be, because I'm like,
really
if you just
good.
take it to a secondhand store, you know, some of it's going to get thrown away,
Totally.
whatever. So I'm always like, if I sell things on Poshmark, I know someone is getting them that actually wants it and will use it. I will donate professional clothes to the Downtown Women's Shelter, which is in LA. Wonderful, wonderful. Let me do a plug for the Downtown Women's Shelter.
Oh, yeah.
They do so much great work in the city, but also they have a store where they resell clothes and also make things like candles and stuff like that. It is such a good gift.
Yeah.
To give someone. My aunt, who's like a businesswoman, every year I get her a candle or like a bath set from the Downtown Women's Shelter. Yeah. The scents are all themed after different parts of California, which is so nice. They smell amazing, and they're all in an effort to help women transition from being unhoused to being housed and being back in the workforce and whatever.
Be girl boss.
Truly an incredible organization.
And so Jordan is killing it. But truly, because I really it's one of my favorite things about you. Like, since I've known you, it has been like, oh, I want to throw this towel away. What would I do? I'd throw it in the freaking garbage because I'm the worst. And Jordan's like, let's go to a fabric recycling center. I remember one time Jordan had these boxes of lenses of contact lenses that were not your prescription anymore. And I was like, let's throw these away. Jordan was like, let me find someone who could take these lenses. It's so thoughtful. It's so wonderful. But I think there's a balance because we are busy. We have a lot going on. And I think you just sometimes, like, for example, with those contact lenses, 8 months later, I was like, hey, by the way, these contact lenses are still here. And now I think they might be expired.
I have lofty goals. I'm not always reasonable about the time expectation something will take, even if my intention is there. And I understand that being frustrating.
No, but I totally appreciate where you're coming from. But I think what happens sometimes, for example, Jordan separates everything into Poshmark. The thing with Poshmark is hard is that it has to just live at our house, because if no one's bought it yet, we can't get rid of it, but we also we don't want it. So it's just in our house. But you've contained that to a box. But then the Buffalo Exchange stuff, there's we just continue to compile this stuff we're going to take to Buffalo Exchange.
I know.
There's some in our trunk. There's a huge thing behind our house. And now it's been 8 months
I
now.
need to go. But if you've ever been to a clothing resale place like Buffalo Exchange, you know it's truly the most embarrassing and shameful thing that's ever happened to you.
It is. Well, that's also my problem. Every time we've gone, we hand them a bag of clothes, and I'm not trying to brag, but we have some really expensive clothes. We have designer clothes. We have nice clothes. I swear, every time we go to one of these places, we're there for 2 hours, it feels like, and then at the end they're like, we don't want any of this except this tank top from Forever 21. We'll give you $6, and I'm like, what? Like, I don't understand the arbiter who decides what is good and what is not.
I know it's hard, but I'm trying. I'm going to work on it. So that's my goal for this weekend, is to really get everything sorted and like donate what needs to be donated. Then next week, take whatever needs to go to Buffalo Exchange. I'm going to clean out the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
And I'm going to post some new stuff on Poshmark.
I love it. But also, what I would say, this is my advice. You're not asking for advice.
No.
Now I was giving advice to them. Now I'm giving advice to you. I'm in advice mode. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect every time. Because there's been a couple times I've been like, Jordan, let me take these clothes to Buffalo Exchange. And you're like, no, because there's some stuff I need to add. And I'm like, that's fine then. I'll take it to Buffalo Exchange and then you can add. But then we don't accumulate 8 bags of Buffalo Exchange stuff. You know?
I just don't trust that you'll take them to Buffalo Exchange.
That is horrible. You think I'd lie and take them somewhere? Wow. You think I would lie?
Yeah.
I would not do that. I would take, if you wanted me to take them to Buffalo Exchange, I would take them. Remember a couple weeks ago, took them. You gave me this address to this weird place. What are you talking about? You had all these. Well, I had all these jeans that a brand had sent me, and they didn't fit me, and I was like,
this was cool.
No, it was awesome. But you should trust me. You were like, here's this address of this donation place.
They were collecting clothes for farmers and migrant workers who were currently displaced during Coachella. Because if you don't know about this, every year when Coachella happens, the people who normally live in the Coachella Valley have to essentially leave because everything gets hiked up so people can go to Coachella, whatever. So they were doing a donation thing. So I had Kendahl take all these jeans that we were gifted as PR to this thing.
I'm not trying to get a pat on the back here. I'm just saying, you told me to do that. I went across town and I went up. It was this weird.
I know.
It was this door that was really small. I was like, who's this for? It was very tiny. I walk up the stairs. It was like someone's house is what it looked like. And then there was a sign on the back that was like, donations here. And I went down this hallway up to a rooftop and there was no one monitoring it. And it was just like a canopy with a bunch of stuff under it. And I just laid it there. But you can trust me. I always take your donations where they need to go.
No, I do trust you. I could just see you being like, I took it to Buffalo Exchange and they didn't take it. So can I drop it off at...
Well, what else would I do with it?
I would take it to like another Buffalo Exchange.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. I guess that's... Yeah,
and I don't want to make you do that because it's like not your thing. It's my thing. It's one of the things I contribute to our relationship because my whole thing is like I do like purchasing clothes.
You do.
And also my weight fluctuates. So sometimes I have to. But I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to buy things, I also need to not just throw my things I don't want into the ocean. Try to ethically buy things and then also so ethically get rid of things, recirculate them into the community.
And one day,
give stuff to friends.
We will have an extra room that's just for those donations. I'm going to have a Poshmark room for you one day.
Yeah.
We just happen to live in a really tiny apartment right now.
But I do, and I try, I give stuff away to friends. Look, Reka
you're a winner.
Is always wearing stuff of ours.
Reka is always wearing our clothes.
I'm always giving Reka some stuff.
No, you are amazing. It's
Kelsey.
just hard. We don't have a ton of time. It's just hard. We don't have a ton of time. We're trying. But our couch right now, we hide so much Poshmark behind. Please, here's what I'm trying to say. This is just a plug.
This is an ad for my
Poshmark. Even if you don't like the clothes, just buy them, please. I really need them out of my house. Anyways, we're talking about money today. Good segue, honestly. You make us a lot of money on Poshmark.
I actually do. I've made like probably over $1,000 on Poshmark.
Yeah, you're incredible. We're talking money today. Money is complicated, and a lot of people in relationships deal with it very, very differently.
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to talk about this trend going around right now.
Oh, yeah.
That has been popular for the last few weeks. And the trend is texting normally it's a woman texting her husband or boyfriend, being like, how many likes for you to buy me the Jackie Gucci bag, whatever. And then the guy will be like, 50,000 likes and the Detroit Lions have to comment or whatever. That's the trend right now.
And usually it happens.
And of course, because everybody wants
you to have your Gucci bag.
You to get your Gucci Jackie bag and for your husband to have nothing. Why wouldn't they want that? So of course the Detroit Lions comment and say, get your bag, girl. It's like a lot of companies interacting with normal people.
Yeah.
And I want to do some of those.
I love that.
So I'm going to present you with some scenarios.
Okay.
You're going to tell me how many likes I would need to get.
Okay.
And what would need to happen for me to get it.
Okay. Are we doing this from a world where we don't have social media followings, or we're the same social media followings we have right now?
No, same social media followings.
Okay.
So take into context what that would mean.
Cool.
I guess how many comments and likes I would normally get on a video, and then just like think about that.
Cool.
I want to buy an entire new collection
Oh God.
of the most recent Bagoo drop. The entire new collection.
Bagoo bags. You guys, is anyone else's wife? It's like, how many Bagoo bags?
Yeah, everyone else's wife.
And people are I'm like, they're like, a new Bagoo drop. I'm like, yeah, they put strawberries on a bag. Would you chill out?
I agree with you. I do think the drops are too wild.
It's
however,
just a bag. It's like it's
no.
like reusable. And it's like the Stanley thing where people are buying 80 Stanleys. I'm like, the point was for it to be sustainable. And now you have 80 Bagoo bags. This is just like plastic bags again.
I agree with you to an extent. I do agree with you. I think you're correct. I think everyone needs to consume in moderation and thoughtfully. I don't think you need every new thing that comes out of every whatever. That being said, the medium crescent crossbody bag from Bagoo is the best bag I've ever owned.
I know, but I told you, and the other day I got you another one of those.
We got the large crescent.
And I said that was fine.
Because for travel.
But you want a
but
whole
let's say
line?
they do a drop. They do a drop that's like, they do a Muppets drop.
All right.
They do a Muppets drop.
You're going to get the full one. You get 2 likes. 2 likes and you can have it.
This is okay. This is kind of like when kids get divorced. No. When parents get divorced. You know when children get divorced from each other? No, it's like when parents get divorced and there's like a fun parent and a not fun parent, except I'm the child. Do you know what I mean?
I have no idea what you're saying.
Got it. Let me say more.
Not tracking.
Got it.
For
Hold
me.
on. Let me say more. You know when a parents get divorced?
You know when a parent divorces a child? And this is like, please buy my Bagoo bag.
When parents get divorced and there's normally one fun parent and one parent that like makes the rules.
Yeah.
To me, that's sometimes our relationship. But I'm the child and I'm the strict parent and you're the fun parent.
Okay.
Or like our relationship is the child and you're the fun parent and I'm the strict parent.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I'm super fun. I'm a really fun time. Yeah.
So I think sometimes I think more about budgeting maybe than you do.
Well, here we go, boys. I think you think more about budgeting than I do, but I think you spend a considerable more amount of money than I do.
And this is a point of contention in our relationship. I do not spend more money than you.
All right, we'll put it in a tracker. We'll see.
I buy more things.
Every day I get home and there's 18 packages and Jordan's like, that's the Target collaboration with Jenna Maroney is what I wanted to say.
A character from 30 Rock.
There's always some collaboration.
No, Kendahl is being hyperbolic. I don't get 18 packages a day. I get more packages than you, but I also return more. I like buy more stuff, but return more stuff.
And who takes it to the post office?
You do.
Sorry, that's just isn't.
That's not related to anything.
I just like to get.
You love to go to the post office.
No.
Yes, you do. You love our post office.
No, this
you love our
is
post
just
office.
like mopping. This is just like mopping. 2 years in our relationship.
If you've been a fan for a while, you know that I got in trouble because I thought Kendahl liked mopping. Because Kendahl always says, I love mopping.
No, I just always mop. Jordan sometimes, Kendahl loves to do the dishes. Kendahl loves, I don't want to do that.
I would never say that. I would never say you love to do the dishes.
Or it'll just be a chore that I've always done. And then Jordan will say to someone, well, Kendahl loves to do that. I'm like, I absolutely do not love to do that. I hate going to the post office.
You like those guys that work at the post office.
So do you. They're incredible. They're very sweet. But
I know the people who work at our post office are really nice. But
like my gynecologist. I don't want to go see her. I'd rather be at home than go chat with her.
Okay, then I can start going to the post office.
No, I don't mind.
You're always very adamant about the fact that you can go.
Well, because I am always looking for something I can add because I feel like you're like a better. I feel like you do a lot of hard stuff. So I
think that is one nice thing about our relationship is Kendahl and I both think the other person is a much better partner.
And we're always so scared. We're always like, I can do it.
I'm sorry. You do so much. Which I think is kind of nice and keeps things on a very even playing field. But okay, so to backtrack, you know this. If you are a person with a body, you have to buy like 5 pairs of shorts and try them all on because every company is different, every size is different. So I buy more things, but I also like return my things. Whereas Kendahl, this isn't as much of a problem anymore, but Kendahl used to buy something that was not cheap. And
Say its name.
Well, a bunch of
Air
things.
Force Ones that never
Kendahl
arrived.
bought a pair of Air Force Ones from Poshmark. Oh, well, they arrived.
What? I never got them.
Are you kidding me? You don't remember this?
No.
They were delivered. You forgot to ever look if you had a package.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They never arrived to me.
No, they arrived to you.
Oh.
And you walked by them every single day. This was before we lived together. So I could not stop this from happening. Kendahl spent a bunch of money on Air Force Ones from Poshmark.
Why did I buy those on Poshmark?
Then like maybe 3 months later, I was like, are you liking your new Air Force Ones? Kendahl was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you bought those Air Force Ones on Poshmark. Kendahl was like, oh, I never got those. I was like, did you email Poshmark?
But then
Kendahl's
what happened?
Like, no.
What happened 1 month after that?
I don't know.
I went to therapy for a shopping addiction.
Sure. That's what I said. It's not an issue anymore. But I think still there are things where it's like you will buy something. You're not as good at returning things or remembering you have things.
Yeah. But I don't buy as much stuff. I don't think we've spent money on very different things. You buy a lot of like fancy things. Like you're more likely to buy 2 pairs of luxury shoes than I maybe would do that once every 2 years. Like I have 2 pairs of shoes and that's just like what I wear.
Mm-hmm. But that's also because, and I've said this before on our podcast, you wear all my clothes. So I think sometimes it's like I'm the spender. I buy more clothes, but it's like, yeah, why would you need to buy clothes when I'm curating a closet for you? You almost
Party girl.
That's my shirt. That's my shirt. And you're probably wearing a pair of my underwear. So you're wearing
blue striped one.
Yep, you're wearing my shirt and my underwear. So generally, I'm curating your closet.
I hear you.
Thank you. Whoa, damn. Not the reception I was expecting to get.
What was the originally thing we were saying?
No clue. Couldn't tell you if my life depended on it. But I think all this to say is we really love each other. And I think money can be a sensitive subject for a lot of people. But I think it's
something
good
we've had to work on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Another thing I'm working on is interrupting.
No, we've had to work on it because you used to have a shopping addiction.
It's hard. I don't know. As I've processed more, it's so hard to call it a shopping addiction because I did go to therapy for shopping addiction. I did work on it, and I also made a lot of improvements. It is hard when we first started dating, I was in $25,000 worth of credit card debt, and I had 0 savings and 0 money. Truly zero. I mean, you couldn't have less money. I had no money.
Yeah, you can't have less money than having $25,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah, and I mean, when we started dating, I was 21 years old. I mean, I was not in a good situation, and thank God I found the internet because even if I had gone to therapy, there would have been no way for me to get out of that without a lot of really like intense.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was not in a good way, but it is hard when you have no money. And when I used to live in New York, it's like I made less per month than my rent. Or it was like I made per month what my rent was. And I think I was put in this hard position where it was like, even if I saved so much, it didn't matter because I would never be able to have a savings. And I just kind of felt like an active choice, whether it was responsible or not. I was like, well, my friends are always inviting me out to dinner. Everyone's always going out drinking. I want to go see this person I like in concert. I wasn't Mr. Moneybags. I wasn't like spending a bunch of money all the time, but I was doing normal things to have fun in my 20s. And I think I at one point did just say like, I'm going to be in debt no matter what.
Yeah.
So what is $5,000 versus $30,000? There is a difference, to be clear. And I do not want you to get in the same situation I did. But I think it was hard because my spending habits, because I don't really have an addictive personality. I don't think it was an addiction.
You also weren't treated for your ADHD.
That's true.
And I think that was a part of it.
Yeah, that's probably true. But I think it wasn't an addiction, especially because it was very easily, like I was in therapy for a couple months and I was fine. And I started listening to a financial podcast and got over it. I would not call it an addiction. I think I just had no spending awareness or education.
And you don't have great impulse control.
And I don't have great impulse control. So it would be one of those things where like I would be out with friends and someone would be like, should we get a really expensive bottle of wine? And I'd be like, yeah, even though I like had no money. Or
you would buy me a gift and you would spend like $100 on a gift for me. And I would be like, this makes me feel bad because you don't have this money.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, it's fine. And I'm like, no, but it's not.
Yeah. So it wasn't an addiction. I think I truly just like, I started from this place of having no money and just kind of was like, Well, there's no, which I think there's truth to. There's no world in
Yes.
which I win. There's if I had a PB&J sandwich every day at work for the rest of my life, I would still be in debt. So why don't I go on a damn cruise and enjoy my life?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to have retirement. And now I'm in a different place. It's much easier to budget now that I feel like, oh, well, if I set myself up for success, I could have a good life. But it's like, that's not the reality for most people.
Absolutely.
So
If
I think
you
I
have
should
money
bet
to
spending
budget.
habits. It was habits. More.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so much easier, obviously, to budget if you have money to budget.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that I was in the opposite boat of you, is that I was so scared of debt. It had been so ingrained in me to be afraid of
I
debt.
thought you were going to be like, I was so rich. I was like, okay.
I was
lying
so
on this
unbelievably rich. I worked at a Mexican restaurant and I was so rich from doing that.
I mean, you were scared.
I was very scared of debt. And I've always been very lucky because I've always been able to have the safety net of I could move back in with my parents if I needed to.
Yeah.
Like I could have left New York and moved to LA and lived with my parents. Yeah.
Well.
So I think that's a safety net that not everybody has. So I think that's important. But I was so afraid of debt. I did not have a credit card until like 4 years ago.
I know. I think I met you when you were getting your first credit card.
Yeah.
Like, I think we were just dating.
Because I was so scared of debt. So I would not do things I wanted to do. I would not go out to eat. I worked 7 days a week. I worked a million jobs because I was so afraid of debt. And I don't think that's good either. So I think when you don't have money, it's all bad, which is like really unfortunate.
When you're set up, you're just so set up to fail. And it is like, you do get one life. And I'm not trying to be like, YOLO, spend whatever you want. But I think there's a truth to like, yeah, we're not set up. I mean, we're very fortunate, but if you're working like a minimum wage job, if you were to budget out, it would just be like, yeah, you can never go out to eat.
Yeah, which
that
is like,
sucks.
that's
like,
not fun
it's not
or fair.
fun at all or fair. And like, and then if you don't, oh, guess what? You'll still be struggling. So it's just very, or you'll save for 6 months and then, oh, we got a medical issue. All that was a waste of, I should have just been eating out this whole time.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's super tough. But even we as two people who I think, have a lot of privilege have still had to have tons of conversations about money, a lot of discussions. So I think it's a really interesting topic. Oh, I remember we were talking about, I would buy you the whole Kermit Bagoo bags line for
So I started talking about the divorce thing because I'm like, Kendahl will just tell me I can have whatever I want. But also Kendahl knows that I'm deeply afraid of ever going into debt or spending money we don't have or spending too much money. So I think it's kind of easy for you to be like, baby, buy whatever, because I
do like to say that.
I'm internally too afraid to like actually buy whatever.
Yeah, and it's really hard when I go to buy you gifts. I've told you this before, but Jordan is such a planner. You love to know what's going on, and you love planning. Like, I feel like a gift to you I'd be like, here's money, plan a trip. That's fun.
Delish.
But my instinct's like, oh, I should surprise Jordan with something. But I don't think you really like that. But even when it comes to money, like there have been Valentine's days where you've like the night before been like, I really want us to buckle down about finances. And then I'm like, oh, I want to go buy them like a fancy thing. And I'm like, that would feel like maybe the biggest gift is not spending any money.
Yeah.
So I think that's totally true that I am more like, but I also think I'm not a very anxious person.
Sure.
And I think
am.
sometimes we will like, I've had to ground you in a way where it's kind of like, you'll get stressed about money and then you'll be like, I really want a coffee, but I can't, I shouldn't do that.
Well, I never said that because I don't drink coffee.
You don't drink coffee. That was a weird example.
Who
but like,
are you talking to? What other anxious lesbian are you dating?
You'll like want something so small where you'll be like, I want a Jersey Mike sub. That's what you'd really
That's
want.
what I want.
I want a Jersey Mike sandwich, but I can't. I need to save money. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, I think it is the thing of like, people are always saying the Gen Z can't buy houses because they buy avocado toast. And it's like, it's the same even when you're, not Gen Z. I know you're a millennial, but it is like, you can go buy a Jersey Mike sandwich. The important thing is that we're not like, if we can like pay off our credit cards and everything.
I think
okay.
yes and no. I think, yes, I should be getting more Jersey Mike sandwiches, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But I think that Kendahl loves getting delivery, and you cannot get DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever, in Los Angeles for less than $95.
I know.
It does not matter what you're ordering. It does not matter if you're ordering Taco Bell, if you're ordering anything. You, with a 20% tip, which we all should be doing, and
it's wild.
fees, you are not spending less than $90.
But what do we kind of talk about with the delivery, though? Because I think we did have a little come to Jesus moment about it.
Kendahl loves getting delivery, and it's a treat you deserve to have.
No, that's
Wait.
that's not what I said.
Sorry, I thought that's what we can...
No, we had a little conversation
mean?
because I was like, it feels like sometimes Jordan's like, Kendahl loves getting delivery.
You do.
Well, let me just say, I think an important factor is whenever we get pickup, I am the person who goes to get it. I don't want you to get upset. I don't know if we've been at our house and we've gotten pickup and you've gone out to get it.
I'm upset.
In our 4 years, I don't
upset.
think you've ever done that. So
well,
I kind of was like,
I have to
stop
interrupt.
acting like...
Wait, I have to interrupt. I have to interrupt. I think the important context for that is you are the getter. That is No, but that's
No, I go and get
like,
stuff for you.
I'm the planner and I'm the
You're the orderer. You're the orderer and I'm the goer.
I'm the planner and you're the doer. And that's always kind of been our thing in our relationship. So it's like you would rather me have to organize a whole thing and then you just go out and get it rather than you having to organize the whole thing.
No, I totally hear you. But I think when you're like, Kendahl loves to get delivery, I'm like, well, of course you don't really care if we get delivery or pickup because it's delivery for you no matter what. It is.
Okay.
You have been proved wrong.
No, this is my thing. I will happily, and I've said this before, I will happily go pick up more stuff.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
I will happily
No, Jordan.
Go pick up more stuff.
I'm not even kidding. There was one time I said, can you go pick it up? And you said, Kendahl, please.
I was in the middle of doing something.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. I remember the exact situation you're talking about. I was in the middle of working.
It's always this voice. Jordan, can you turn the light off before we go to bed? Kendahl, please.
Because you're the one that turns the lights off at night.
I know.
I'm the one that you do the night shift. I do the morning shift.
All right. I'm just saying I don't love getting delivery. I don't
Sweetheart,
I don't always want to go out and get
You love getting delivery.
Yeah. All right. You're right.
No, but you like getting delivery.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I had a partner who always got delivery, who went and picked it up, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, let's get pickup. Because sometimes in the past...
so this is the thing.
You
want me to go get it more. Because I'll do that.
No, I really don't mind. I love going to get you.
Because I feel like sometimes when I try to go get it, you're like, come on, let's just have it delivered.
When have you... Jordan.
You are gaslighting me right now. And I'm the one that said it first, so that means that I'm right.
Said, let me go get it. Here's what I'll say. The only thing is, because I will always go get it, the only issue I would have is when you would go, I think there'd be times where I'd be like, can we get delivery? I'm so tired. And you would kind of be like, this is in the past. Okay. This is not present. I mean, you're incredible now. But in the past, you'd be like, you'd kind of take it as, I'm the one who cares about the finances. So I want to do pickup. And Kendahl just is throwing caution in the wind, so she doesn't want to get it. And at the time I was like, no, that's actually not what it is. I think you would be much more interested in delivery if I wasn't holding the keys right now ready to go pick it up for you.
I understand that. And I understand why you felt that way.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. But I do also feel like there's been times when I've been like, well, why don't I just go get it? Or why don't we just run to get it together? And you're like, let's just have it delivered. You say it just like that.
That is a good impression.
Yeah. You're like, let's just let him deliver it.
Because I love to relax.
Because you love to
relax.
relax.
I love a special occasion.
But every day is a special occasion for
that's
you.
The way I live my life.
And I think that's so beautiful.
Every day is a special occasion.
But I'm like, all of a sudden, if you've done delivery twice in 1 week, that's $200.
I know, it's pretty wild. You know, when we were in Taiwan, the delivery, Jordan and I were getting breakfast delivered every morning because the total, not even just, this is how much the food costs, the total after delivery and tip and everything, it's like $4.
Well, they do it like in New York. And I used to do delivery in New York sometimes. I worked at a restaurant and I just kind of would do I did a bunch of positions at this restaurant, and sometimes I would do delivery, and I would do it by foot because all the restaurants in New York, at least at this time, the delivery range was so small.
Yeah.
So you could only order things that were already so close to you, and then someone just brings it to you either casually on foot or like on a bike, and it took like 2 seconds. So you could do more delivery orders and make more money.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, like, I'm on DoorDash and I can order from someplace in Santa Monica, which is like 2 hours from my house, you know?
So it's like, of course it's going to cost that much because that is insane for anyone to drive that far to give you something. But it's like, they should just make it to where you can't order from there.
So it's different. It's just different. Everything's different now.
And I think you are right. I think you are right.
And I think you're right.
You are right.
And I think you are right.
We do this fun bit Jordan and I kind of are we're in a place right now where we're wanting to watch different shows. I don't think we've ever been at this place in our relationship.
Well, because Kendahl only wants to watch Bridgerton, and I want to watch Fallout.
Yeah. And, well,
What?
there's a show that Jordan watches every single night. And at first I liked it, but I'm just kind of like getting over it.
I understand that, but you also want to watch Bridgerton a lot. And
I
I
do wanna watch
like
Bridgerton,
but
yeah.
Bridgerton is not a rewatch show for me.
To me, it is. I think it's so relaxing.
Yeah, I do not
love
find it relaxing.
The music and the costumes is very nice. Oh, you want to know a Bagoo? I don't know if it was Bagoo. An argument Jordan and I genuinely got into was I came home and Jordan was like, I've bought a bunch of stuff from this collaboration. Something to know about me is another thing I had to go to therapy for besides my shopping addiction was my fear of bugs.
Man, how much therapy does one person need to go to?
Trust me. I know it's not great, but I literally was like, because I'm not just afraid of bugs. I'm sure a lot of people relate to this. Bugs, I'm better about it now, but I would see a bug in our house. I would immediately rip off all my clothes and start hyperventilating, and I would have a panic attack. I could not deal with bugs. And the biggest fear of all of them is cockroaches, which is so weird because cockroaches are not harmful and some people have as pets. So why that scares me more than anything, I have no idea. I'm so afraid of them. And Jordan knows this. You know I went to therapy for this. Mm-hmm. I get home, Jordan is like, I got this collaboration. It is, would you like to tell them what it is?
So, and listen, gay people listen to this podcast, so you guys are going to love this. It's the Academy Museum John Waters Bagoo collection. So it's a bag and a sunglasses case with the print on it that is Tracy Turnblad's dress from the finale of the original movie of Hairspray.
It's just cockroaches.
Which is a pink dress with black cockroaches all over it.
So scary.
They're
and you didn't
so
just get the glasses
obviously
case.
not real.
That's
I said I got
you
a bag and I got a glasses case.
But that's not all you got. You also got the trash can.
The trash can didn't have cockroaches on it. The trash can was a different thing by a different artist, by the guy who was in Gravy Train. Which
there was
means
something
nothing
else
to you.
I made you return.
The trash can. You said it didn't fit in our bathroom and you didn't like it. You just didn't like the trash can.
I was already mad too.
I
couldn't believe. I was like, this is so wild. I
didn't
afraid.
think you would be upset by fake
I'm not upset.
cockroach
I'm not upset by it when you
on
just
a tote bag.
I'm not upset when you just hand it to me. I'm not like, oh, is this real? It doesn't freak me out in that way. But it is always sitting somewhere or it's up in our closet. And if it's at a certain angle, I think it is a huge cockroach.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I don't like lizards. And if you got a bag that had pictures of lizards on it, that would not be upsetting to me. So clearly I didn't understand. And now I know, and I'll never do it again.
Well, that would be wild. You already own 2 things now with cockroaches all over.
Yeah, but I'd want it again because that's an incredible dress. If I could own that dress, I would.
The worst part about it is anytime you bring it out in public,
people love it.
And I'm like, what is fashion these days?
I can't even go into it with you. But everyone in the comments just yell at Kendahl and explain why the cockroach dress is so important and why it's good and why we all love the cockroach dress.
All right, what's something else?
Good.
How many likes would I have to get?
How many likes would I have to get and who would have to comment for me to get another figurine of a gremlin from the movie Gremlins?
Okay. This is so hard because my instinct is just be like, I mean, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah, that's not what this game is. You're actually being the type of person I hate because there are people that are always in the comments of these videos, like a girl being like, asking my boyfriend how many comments I'd have to get, whatever. It's just a fun, lighthearted thing, but there's always people, no, because you'll hate this too. There's always people in the comments being like, why won't he just buy you whatever you want? Why do you have to get a certain amount of comments? Does he own you? I'm like, it's a bit. It's a joke, right?
Okay.
It's like he's obviously going to buy you that anyway. It's not like he can't afford a Bottega bag. And then if you get 40,000 comments,
he has to get it for you.
He has to get it for you. Do you know what I mean?
I've seen some wild ones though. Some of them are like, how many likes to have another baby? I'm like,
that's okay. But that's a joke. Like they're joking.
Who knows? I don't know these days. If they're family vloggers, they're probably not joking.
Okay, well they're unwell. But do you know what I mean?
If you got
this
a gremlin,
is just a joke. How many? This is just a joke.
If you don't know about the gremlin, it's this action figure Jordan has. It's kept in the box. I think is so scary. It is this weird gremlin that has massive boobs and it sits in our house.
Why are you scared of everything? It's a figurine. You're not scared of it. It's the girl gremlin from Gremlins, scary. And she's sexy.
She's weirdly sexy, but feels very bizarre to me. And it, for a long time, was stored right next to my father's ashes.
You put your dad's urn next
there
to
was
Girl
nowhere
Gremlin.
else to put it.
She was there first.
It was between that and a Furby. I have no idea where I was supposed to put my dad's
Kendall,
ashes.
there's plenty of places to put your dad's ashes in our house. And you know where Kendall settled on? In our bedroom, on the dresser, looking directly at our bed.
And we moved it.
And we moved it because
and now it's next to the TV where he would have wanted.
And now he's next to the TV, and he would have wanted that.
What I would feel frustrated if you asked to get another Girl Gremlin. You know how I feel about it. We don't have any more space. I am trying to make more money because I'm a singer. Is that it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to work so hard so I can buy you a huge house with a room for Poshmark and a room for weird trinkets and a room so that none of it is in.
Many likes to get another figurine of the Girl Gremlin?
200,000 likes, and I would need Trolls the movie to comment on it.
Okay. Do you think you should have to check in with your partner about big purchases?
Depends on. I think you like set a number depending on your income and how you guys feel about it. Like I feel like I would never buy something over $400 without asking you.
That makes sense to me.
But also I wouldn't be like I don't know. I wouldn't be asking you though. I would be telling you. I think if it was over maybe $1,000, it would be more of like, I wanted to check in about this thing.
Yeah.
But I think if there was something I like really want, but it's also such a weird conversation because it's like, I don't know. If like it was something that we could have, it would be a different situation if we were like, well, we were struggling so much right now.
Yeah. That's
gonna be a different conversation. But if it was like, but that's what I mean. It just depending on where you're at financially, makes sense to you. But if there was something I really wanted, and even if it was like, I don't know if I really wanted a new car, like really bad, and it was like all I talked about and I wanted it so much, and you were just like, no, I would be like, but then I guess it would make sense if you're like, well, maybe let's wait. But I think anything is kind of like, but if you really want it, I mean, go ahead. But we just have, usually if it's over like $400, I think we have like a conversation about it. Yeah. Like you would check in with me.
I feel like I ask you about really anything I buy. I think I show you everything I buy before I buy it.
Yeah, but I don't
think that's a rule.
But you've never, I think most of the time you're just showing me because you're like, oh, look at this.
Well, I like your opinion. I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah. What interesting, the one thing I ever was asked about was that bug thing because I think
that wasn't a discussion.
I think you knew what I was gonna say.
But you don't get it because you don't watch enough movies.
Yeah, I see a lot of movies.
Okay.
How many likes would I need to get to buy another TikTok shop exercise thing?
The limit does not exist. Kendall bought one of those steppers from TikTok. Kendall, who's always, we have too much stuff, buys this stepper thing, puts it in our living room, puts it just in the center of the floor. Kendall has not used it once. I brought it up the other day. Kendall goes, I use that all the time.
Can I be really honest with you here on this podcast?
Yeah.
And I haven't had to talk to you about this. I don't know what to do. I regret buying it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not being honest about that. I regret it. That's so obvious. I know that.
But I had been saying I use it. I don't use it. I don't know what to do. It's stored under our kitchen table. We don't have room for it. I don't like it. I go to the gym all the time. I never use it.
I think we'll probably just give it to my mom.
I don't know what to do.
I think my mom will use it, so we'll just give it to my mom probably.
I don't want it.
Yeah,
and I regret it. And it
mom.
was not expensive, but it wasn't cheap. And I'm sorry. And I want it out of my house.
This is why, though, I feel like it's helpful for you to check with me on purchases sometimes because you do struggle with impulse control because of your ADHD. And you also don't have the desire to investigate
the internet
the way in which I do.
The internet is sick. I hate the internet. This new TikTok shop thing is so scary.
That's why I've told you never buy anything from TikTok shop.
But what happens is, I just am learning more and more about it. It's like the TikTok shop buyers, they're all in cahoots. And so they'll post this thing that's like,
drop shipping.
I don't even know what that is. And I shouldn't have to know what that is. So don't explain it to me.
I keep telling you, don't ever buy anything from TikTok shop.
No, I know, but but even if I go to another place and buy it, this is what I'm going to say is that the problem is these people are TikTok shop creators. So they'll be like, buy this product. It's so incredible. And then the comments are like, I bought this. It's amazing. Oh my God, I bought this and it changed my life. I'm thinking these are people. I'm like, oh wow, people really like this. These are other TikTok shop sellers.
But that's why I'm telling you.
They're pretending to be real people.
But you don't want to do the investigating. So all you have to do is send me something And then I'll investigate it. I'll go to like 1 million websites. I'll read 800,000 reviews on 1 billion platforms or whatever. And then I'll be like, yes or no, this is good. Or I would have told you, don't buy that stepper thing. You already have 2 different gym memberships, 2 different gym memberships to 2 different gyms.
Well,
you don't need a stepper for the house, and you won't use that. But you didn't talk to me before you bought it, and you haven't used it once. And then every time I bring it up, you say, I use that all the time.
What am I to say, Jordan? I regret it. I'm like,
say
I
that.
have to just, because it's like you
that
have
feels
to
so much better than you saying, I use that all the time.
Because I was trying to convince myself that I was going to use it.
I get that, but you weren't. But that's why I think it's good if you and your partner have a good and healthy relationship, it's good to check in with them because sometimes they can be more real with things than you can. Like, for example, sometimes I'll want a new pair of shoes and Kendahl will be like, you have a pair of shoes that already look like that. And then I don't buy them because I'm like, ultimately, she is right.
You want to show them your new shoes?
Oh, you can't see them at all.
Black bottoms. Can you believe it?
They're the Simone Rocha Crocs. I went to hell and back for these. And you know what's embarrassing? When I walk in them, because I have to wear my medical insoles after my surgery, the medical insole and the Croc makes the craziest noise. So I sound like a duck.
Sounds, yeah.
I sound like a duck, but I still love them. I think they look incredible. Ready for questions?
I was just going to say that.
I know, I could sense it. So we asked you to drop your questions about dating and relationships and money. And here they are.
Ooh. And if you were like, where can I ask a question? You can go to our Instagram, or you can always email us any question you could ever think of that we'll usually answer in our Q&As. You can just email us over at hwhlpodquestions@gmail.com.
You can also pose your questions in our inbox on Patreon if you follow us on Patreon.
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on over there.
What if one person always wants to buy new things while the other person likes to buy used/thrifted things?
I think that's kind of us.
It is us. That's why I started with that question.
You know, it's hard. I think buying secondhand is awesome. I'm not opposed to buying secondhand. Secondhand clothes, there's a couple things I struggle with. At the end of the day, I've worked on it a lot, but I do have a lot of germophobia issues. Going to a thrift store is very overwhelming for me. There's vintage stores and there's some different ones that I don't mind as much. Thrift stores really stress me out. I feel like all the clothes someone else has just worn and I'm touching them all and I get very panicked. I get very overwhelmed. I also think as a girl who's not a size small, to be vague, I can never find a single thing for myself at these places, and jeans especially.
I think there are exceptions. I think jeans it's very, very hard to buy jeans. But I think you're obsessed with a big t-shirt. And I
buy those there.
Do you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't go very often, but when we go, I've bought a big t-shirt before.
But like that shirt you're wearing right now, I bought secondhand.
That's awesome.
And you love it.
Yeah. I bought secondhand before. I just think going to a thrift store, going to like a Savers, having to go through, I feel like I would have to bring in a pile of like 80 pairs of clothes to find something that would fit me. It's just very overwhelming to me.
I would say, unfortunately, as Kendahl and I have learned the hard way, it is what it is. If one person always likes to buy new things and you like to buy used things, you just have to respect both of your differences. If it is something that is so important to you that you can't get past it, have a conversation with them. Yeah. But ultimately, both of you should always be trying to be thoughtful of each other and as sustainable as possible. Buying new doesn't always mean something is bad.
Well, I also will say, I think it's like, if there's a different question of you really care about sustainability and your partner doesn't. We don't have that. We both really care about sustainability. Yeah. I think that there's a world, I think when we started dating, we've talked about this before, but like you bought a lot secondhand, but you bought a lot. And then a lot of it wasn't really used. To me, that felt kind of wasteful. Whereas I think I'm more likely to spend, you are too, but to spend more money on something that's like ethically made or whatever it is, that's still new. I mean, at the end of the day, I do think still buying secondhand is the better thing. Yeah. You're still creating a new thing no matter how ethically it's made. But I found myself to be buying less stuff. And like, so for me, that was just for me, that is like different. If your partner doesn't care about the environment and you do, that's completely different.
Totally different. Yeah.
But I don't think that's all like, I think just because you buy secondhand doesn't mean you're great to the environment.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. When should you get a joint account? X years of dating, engaged, married. At what point should you have a joint account?
Joint account. I don't know. We don't have one.
Yeah, I think so Kendahl and I kind of operate under our money being our money communally, but we don't have a joint account just because it's another thing to have to go do.
It's so hard. I feel like we were talking about this the other day. We're like, this is Jordan's idea, so cut it out if you want to patent it. But Jordan's always like, they should have on a bank account, you can like separate into files where it's like vacation, this, I also think it is important to say though, like we do, we're very privileged. Like we're pretty financially stable for our age. So I think it's easier to be like, all our money is the same. Whereas I think if I was like really like struggling or like really having to do a lot to save and I was dating someone, I probably would be a little more like, okay, like that's mine and this is yours.
Well, or like if I was poor and my partner was rich, I would be like, excuse me, you should be paying for everything because you're rich. But I think that Kendahl and I make comparable amounts of money.
Yeah.
We both work comparable amounts.
That's the
So I think it feels normal.
And we've worked stuff out in bills and stuff that feels like fair to us. But in terms of just like day-to-day spending, it's like
kind of whatever.
I think we view it very much as ourselves, but we don't have a shared bank account. But a lot of people would never do the way we do things. Like I know that there are people who very strongly are like, that is not a good way to do it.
Yeah, money's so personal that I think the most important thing about it is you have to decide what is helpful to you and what feels good to you and what makes you feel valid and respected and like you have access to your own money.
Yeah, make sure there's no resentment building up. I think there can be a big people-pleasing tendency of just being like, oh, I'll get it. And I say this because I do this all the time.
Yeah.
I'll get it for not just you, but for anyone. Oh, it's fine, I'll get it. And it's like, that is not, you have to learn to voice yourself, like for yourself. I hopefully not. I feel like you and I have no resentment around money built up towards each other. I certainly don't. So it's like, that's working for us. To me, that's like the indicator it's working.
Yeah.
But if there was any resentment, I'd be like, okay, let's start maybe tracking more what's going on.
Absolutely. If your partner makes more than you, how do you split the bills equitably? I think you do it proportionally.
Totally. Or you just split things like, I feel like we do it more like you take this, I'll take this.
Yeah, because that's what works for us.
Like you take the heating bill, I'll take this thing.
Water bill or whatever.
And whoever's making kind of more money, they take the bigger one. They take, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think it's like for us, we don't really think about. I think for us, it's more who wants to handle what, not the amount of what the thing is.
Yeah.
So you pay for our apartment. But because you handle all the stuff with the apartment and like HOA and all that stuff, but I handle all insurance stuff. So our home insurance, our auto insurance, and then I handle everything with the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it kind of feels for us less like what amount of money we want to do and more like who wants to do what task.
But I think if one of us made way more money than the other person, I would be like, I think there is truth to like, I even think with roommates, it's like if you are making way more money, you should not be paying equal.
Unless the other person sucks. That's always how I feel where I'm like, there is a huge difference of, I've known a lot of people who are like, I just don't want to have to do anything.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, but I don't want to have a job either, but here I am having to have a job.
Or I've had people in my life, all the millions of roommates I had in New York, it's like sometimes there'd be people, they'd be like, well, that's not in my budget. But I'm like, well, your parents pay for this. So that's not a budget. You could work a job. Like, it's crazy that I'm like, yeah, I guess if my mom gave me a budget, this would be over my budget too, but I go to work every single day. So I think there's a difference between someone not like having a budget and someone being like, yeah, you make $90,000 a year and I make $25,000 a year. This is, you know, and our rooms are completely the same size. But also, I don't know. If you don't know the person, I don't really know if it's your business. I don't know if I'd start like pitching to a person you just met to be a roommate on Craigslist to like pay more of their rent.
Because I also think that people will be like, I don't have any money. And then you'll find out that they actually do. I think that was a big thing in New York. In New York, I feel like everyone was always like, I'm broke. And I'd be like, wait a second. Your dad owns Goldman Sachs? Like,
Literally.
whatever, like stuff like that, where I'm like, what do you mean you're broke? And I think people just mean like, I think sometimes people will be like, I'm broke, meaning like I've spent a lot of money recently, maybe, or something. I don't know. I
had a full panic attack about it when I was in my debt because I was in New York and I thought this golden standard was that everyone had no money, no savings, were all in debt because people were always like, I'm broke. And then I literally had a panic attack because I was having some conversation, I don't remember with who, and they were like, I was like, we're in the same boat. And they were like, well, you know, I have like, I don't know, $150,000 in my savings account. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. Oh no. And like my life flashed before my eyes. And I was like, is everyone like this? And it was like a lot of people were. They were like, well, you have no money, but like when my grandpa dies, I'm going to get $2.5 million. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh no, I really fucked up.
Yeah. So I think you have to be careful. But that being said, in a partnership, I feel like if you and your partner feel like you're doing equal amounts of work, the person who makes more money should pay more money. Or maybe you're in like a sweet, sweet situation where your partner's like, baby, my dream is just to take care of you. I'll pay for it all. But I think in general, like, just split things up in a way that feels fair. If you both work hard, but one of you is an public school elementary teacher and one of you works on Wall Street, you're probably working the same level of hard. You just are in different industries that have wildly different compensations.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Cool.
Do you guys think spending money on someone shows commitment? No.
I mean, I guess to me, it really depends. If you're really loaded, no. If you have no money and you save up every week so you can buy your girlfriend her dream watch, I think
I still don't think that says commitment.
Okay.
Because you could still cheat.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess. But
you know what I mean?
Anybody could cheat. You could do. There's nothing that could prove to me that someone wouldn't cheat.
But like, showing commitment, I don't think spending money has anything to do with showing commitment unless it's really specific. For example, if like your mom was sick and your partner was like, let me pay off your mom's medical bills because I can, I'd be like, wow, that's a real commitment to our family.
Yeah.
That would feel different to me. Someone buying you an expensive gift. I mean, you see it time and time again. Cheaters are always buying expensive gifts for people.
I've seen that online, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. But I think it's like, that's true. I have no thought after that. I was thinking of something else, but I
get what you're saying, though. It's like if you're constantly saving up, I think that's very thoughtful. How do I tell my partner they have bad spending habits?
Well, maybe you should answer this. I mean, you told me that.
And it didn't go well. And I think
But in the end it did.
In the end it did. I think be prepared for it to be a hard conversation. I'm also like, figure out where you are in your relationship. Because I knew that Kendahl and I wanted to be together forever. So I was like, we cannot enter a marriage with you in $25,000 worth of debt, buying Air Force Ones on Poshmark, never even realizing that they arrived and you didn't get them from underneath your mailbox. So someone finally stole them because they had been there for so long. Yeah. I was like, we can't live like that. That's not a good situation.
But also, I think, which I think you did, which I appreciate, have patience and understanding, because money is a really hard conversation. Ooh. Because it really is a true privilege to have financial education and good financial spending habits. That is a privilege.
Absolutely.
A big, big privilege. And having any knowledge of how to spend, or having even, grown up practicing how to spend, is such a privilege, and it is a hard skill. And I think people say this with a lot of stuff, but they'll just be like, I'm bad with money. And you're not. No one is naturally bad with money unless maybe you have there are truths to impulse control issues and stuff like that. But in terms of bad spending habits, you're not, that is something you learn or don't learn, I guess. And I think a lot of people are on their high horse of well, I'm good with money. And it's like, well, you might not but you might be in $25,000 worth of debt too if your parents weren't paying it off all the time. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that is true privilege that you got the chance to learn because your parents told you. And I'm not making my mom taught me a lot about finances and credit, and I was very lucky in that way. But there's a lot of people who turn 18 and realize they can't even get a credit card because their parents fully ruined their credit. And you're like, oh, and they could feel pressure, I'm bad with money because I'm in all this debt. And it's like, so would everyone else. So I think it is coming to it with care and not a statement on them. And I think even if you feel like they're buying frivolous things, it's still something to be learned. It's still something that, so I think just going into it being look at all this crazy stuff you're buying. You're buying all this weird stuff and it's a waste. There could be a lot of reasons that they do that. And I think it is a conversation that has to be handled with a lot of care and acknowledgement of where your privilege comes from and how lucky you are to not be in that situation. I think like anything else, if a year later they're doing the same stuff, that's a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
But most people too, it's defensiveness out of fear. I know for me, when you brought it up to me, I was so scared. I get emotional talking about it because it's like, it is so scary to be in that much debt.
Yeah.
It is so overwhelming. It feels like you will never be able to do anything. Like I was like, I'm not going to be able to have a retirement. I'm never going to be able to afford to go on a vacation. I'm never going to leave the country because I'm just never going to be able to afford to do any of that stuff. And it is impossible when you're looking at your paychecks and you're looking at your debt, and it is so like, how did I get here? So I understand, because I had this like some defensiveness when you bring it up, because it's like, it feels like you honestly did something so illegal, and someone's like, a cop comes up to you and is like, hey, did you kill this person? Where you're like, no. Because it's just like, yeah, what am I supposed to do? I can't like stop being in debt. I can't just like stop. So it's a very scary conversation. One that I'm sure they have anxiety. I feel so lucky now, but it's like, I spent years of my life opening up my bank account came with like the biggest anxiety.
Yeah.
I went out to restaurants. I remember one time going out to a restaurant, and this was like 5 years ago. I went out to a restaurant. I realized it was cash only. And I was like, I literally cannot pay for this. Like, I didn't know it was cash only. I went out to lunch and I don't have $20 in my bank account to take this out. And I like had to have someone send me money. I mean, so it's a really scary place to be in. So just have a compassion. Sorry for the long rant. But.
No, I think that's good. I think, leading with kindness. I think leading with goals instead of just being like, your spending habits are bad. I think being like, I love you so much and I would love to set us up for financial success as a couple in the future. What are some goals maybe we could set together? What are some types of things we could save for together? I think comes at it from so much more of a positive angle rather than just being like, you're bad. Because I 100% agree. I don't think we as a society take into account the fact that you are really just kind of given whatever financial literacy your parents had.
Yeah.
And that is such a gamble. And
I mean, and that can go back to like
generations and generations. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, maybe you don't have a dad. Well, guess women weren't even allowed to have credit cards. And so, that can go back so far.
Yeah.
It's like, depending on it's so impossible. Whereas like I will hear guys like, I have great financial education, and their dad's like a Wall Street guy
100%.
who's been working for years, and they're millionaires, and he has a $2,000 trust, $2,000.
He's a $2,000 trust fund.
A $2 billion trust fund or whatever. And he's like, I'm
too
good
big
with
now.
money. I don't get it. I don't get trust funds. But it's like, you're not good with money. Anyone in that situation would be good with money.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that leading with compassion and kindness, but also setting up what your expectations are for the future.
Yeah.
That was the thing with me for Kendahl. I was like, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to go out to dinner. I want to be able to enjoy our life without those exciting things being insanely stressful.
Yeah.
And that's something I would like to work towards. And also just, I would like for us to be able to be conscious of what we're spending our money on so we know. And I would like for us to be able to talk about it without you being defensive or me getting my feelings hurt.
And also, just because someone reacts badly to a conversation doesn't mean it was a bad conversation to have. Because I even think with that conversation, I don't remember it exactly, but I think it was like...
You were really rude.
I was not... I'm sure. I don't think I was happy about it. And I think I was very upset. Like, I think I cried and I was just like not happy. And I think it was like 4 hours later, I was like, I agree. And I want to really make a change. And then I did. And I like really changed. But I just needed some time to like process it.
Sure.
Not saying that I'm like, oh, that's how anyone should respond to that conversation. But it was just a lot for me. I was really stressed out. I was really scared. And then, like 4 hours later, I was like, sorry, I freaked. You're totally right. And like, let's figure this out. But also through that journey, we've also had arguments about finances. So even like we tried a certain way to like, I came around to it and was like, yes, I want to change. And then we had arguments about the way we were communicating with finances and had to work on that. And then it was like, there was a while we tried tracking it, and then that made me feel, we disagreed on that. And now I feel like we're in a place where we are in a good way.
Yeah.
But it is just it's like a process that I don't think is going to be smooth, especially when you have two people coming from very different positions, or you have two people who make very different salaries, or two people who make the same salary but it's very low, and so you feel very stressed all the time.
Yeah, money is stressful. I think that's the big takeaway. Money is stressful. Keep that in mind. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Kendahl, we did it.
Whoa, what was that noise?
That was my engagement ring.
Oh. Pretty.
Thank you. Where's yours?
Pretty. on this hand. You always do that. Jordan's always like, where's your ring? And then I pull my left hand
I forget what hand it's supposed to go on.
Oh, man. Yeah, money is really hard, very stressful, but definitely a thing that I think there needs to be open communication about. And it's so awkward. It can be awkward. Even, I'll say it, 4 years in, there's times where we have an awkward conversation about money. Of like, you know, it totally...
I don't know if it's awkward, but it's annoying.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's like, I don't...
Money's stupid. It's like annoying to have to talk about money.
Yes. And it's not a thing that I don't feel fully qualified to speak on for everyone. So, but I think it's all we're just figuring out. I just will say that, yeah, it's, in a relationship, I think it's always best to like throw yourself in the deep end in some ways. Cause I think there's some people where they're like, well, I would never do this with my partner with money because I couldn't trust them to XYZ, or I would feel like they would be too controlling or they would take advantage. And I'm like, well, that's all like an issue in itself. Whereas I think if you're kind of just like throwing yourself into the deep end a little bit, you learn those skills along the way to how to like handle all that stuff if you're planning to get married. But I do think be conscious. You should not be combining anything with anyone. To me, you have not been with for at least 4 years, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Hot take, but I'm just like, that is, you can get yourself in a bad situation.
And that you really trust. Even if you've been together for 4 years and you are not on the same page financially, I would still not do it.
Yeah. And don't feel ashamed to do that. Be like, you can set a hard boundary. I don't share my finances with anybody.
Some people never do it, and that's totally fine too.
Totally.
I think the most important thing is to make sure that Bagu knows that they need to release a Muppets collection.
That's actually a really good idea. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about finances, do not ask us. I was going to say comment them down below. We're changing this to a finance podcast. Neither of us have any education in it. I don't know. But just comment down below how you feel about this episode and us.
No, only if it's good.
Oh, yeah, please. And thank you so much for being here. Join our Patreon. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, we're in the Spotify offices and we love them. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you get your podcasts, make sure to rate and review. How's that? How you like them apples?
I loved those apples. Thank you, baby. You did a great job.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much and have a happy, happy week.
Happy Monday.
Bye.